Hey guys, Meteorologist Chris Tomer with this weather update on this Sunday. First off, bullet points. There are actually three different storm systems in my forecast. One is happening now across the west coast, then it moves into the interior. Second storm system behind it for 26, 27, 28, 29, and then the third storm for around 213, 214. So that has a direct impact on totals like Pacific Northwest BC. You've gotten a little bit of snow so far, but the bulk of your snow out of the 20 to 30 inches hits very quickly between 2.6 and 2.7 on Stevens, on Baker, on Whistler, and all the way down to Rainier and Timberline and so on. So that snow has yet to fall. And then there's a third storm system, 213, 214, somewhere in there. Looking at the northeast, I really don't have much. A couple of clippers with maybe some hope for a third storm way down the road at about 214. So let me just show you what the setup is on the water vapor. Oranges and reds represent drier air aloft, so there's storm 1. Here's storm 2, it's sprawling, and then there's a third storm way back here. That would be the one way down the road, 213, 214. So here's the thing. Storm number 1 has a large impact, including California, and then it moves into the interior. Storm number 2 takes a little more of a northerly track. That's what secures that trajectory of heavy slug of moisture for the Pacific Northwest BC. Storm 3 would come in with a large trough way down the road. So there are storms lined up, but the issue is right here, between 2 and 3, there's going to be a quiet period across the Intermountain West. Between like 2.9 and 2.12, we may not have much happening, just waiting on this third storm. All right, let me show you what the pattern is with the jet. So this is an example of what I was saying. Here's 214, big trough, big dip in the jet. So somewhere between 213, 214, this hits the west coast, moves into the interior with jet support, probably colder air, and some pretty good snow totals. So I'll show you what those look like in my forecast coming up. Let's go back to this. I want to show you the forecast radar satellite. Let me take you into Monday morning. Storm 1 coming down through the interior, some nice totals. Waiting on 2, here it comes, largely misses California, but it comes down through the Pacific Northwest and BC and then runs down through the interior. Now after it's done, quiet period. 210, 211, 212, not a lot happening, waiting on that third storm. By the time it comes in, we're looking at 212, 213, 214. All right, here we go with totals. We'll do this in 2 phases, so all of today through the 7th. So like I was saying, another 20 to 30 coming into Whistler, Baker, Stevens, Timberline, Bachelor. That happens 2.6 into 2.7, the very start of that storm. And then that storm would then cruise down through the interior with some pretty nice totals. 6 to 9, 6 to 10 through the Tetons. In Colorado, anywhere from 2 to 6. That's just that one storm. Now let's look at the second. So this is going to be the second phase. 2.8 through 2.14. Now in this period, we're looking at 2 different storm systems. 1, 2.8, 2.9. That's where you get the additional totals here. But then there's a third storm, 213, 214, and that would have a direct impact. And you can see the numbers in Colorado. Some of those numbers come from that 213, 214 storm. So not all of that is from Storm 2, but some decent totals here in the second period. Let me just take you into the northeast. So this is 2.6 through 2.14. Not a lot happening here outside of Mount Washington, which has been brutal lately, but anywhere from 1 to probably 5 inches. A couple of clippers. These numbers may go up if a storm system develops around 2.14, which is possible. It's just the data has been inconsistent, but there you go. Not a lot. Let me just take you back again. Let me show you the numbers. 2.5 through 2.7 across the west. Storm coming in, another one on its heels. 2.6, 2.7, that's where those big numbers are through the Pacific Northwest and BC. And finally, phase 2, which is 2.8. Let me go back up here and find it. 2.8 through 2.14 accounts for 2 different storm systems. That's why the numbers in Colorado, for example, are so large. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in here. Always appreciate it. Take care. Have a great Sunday.